Mr. Edit Man presents. I just found out my mom deletes her Facebook account when she gets a friend request from someone she does not like, then makes a new one. She has done this 3 or 4 times this year. What's your most what the duck parent versus technology story? Well, my mom cannot have right click enabled because it's too much for my brain. My mom clicking things on her laptop is perhaps the most deliberate action I have ever seen anyone do to a computer. She very slowly lines up the pointer, then removes her hand from the trackpad entirely and very slowly brings down her pointer finger to click. The whole process takes about 10 seconds. Every time she has to click something. No matter what. My mum has a similar technique for using the TV remote control. She holds it up with one hand and uses her other hand to press the buttons. Very deliberately. My girlfriend's uncle was asking about something recently and someone suggested that he Google it to find out the answer. He replied it's after 5 PM. Well, not Google be closed by now. My mom does not know how to forward emails. So she once printed up an email and snail mailed it to my brother. My grandfather did a similar thing. He printed the email, scanned the printed paper, and attached it as a new email. My dad would close out the entire mail window when he was done reading an email, then open up a new window, go to mail, log in, and read the next email. My mom could not believe it when she saw it. My dad clicks the back button until he finally reaches when he was at his original homepage, so he does not leave any portals open. My mother thought she would get arrested if I said the word jerk on YouTube. Years ago, I gave my mom my email address, which was at hotmail.com. A bit later, she finally worked up the nerve to ask me whether or not I was gay. My dad did something similar. He thought Hotmail was a gay filth site. So when I was about 13 he pulled me aside and gave me an awkward vague lecture about my browsing inappropriate websites. I assumed he was talking about the actual filth I had been looking at, so I kind of nodded along and apologized until he said, "You know I love you no matter what, and it makes no difference to me if you're gay, but you're too young for those sites." Confused, I said I was not gay. This led to a 10-minute argument, with my dad trying to tell me that I did not need to hide who I was, that I should be comfortable with who I am as a person. The more I said I was not gay, the more he assumed I was in denial. Finally he said that he knew my email address was at Hotmail's. Biggest facepalm moment of my life. Parents won't use Chrome or Firefox. They say it's not the real internet they pay for. Only Internet Explorer is real internet supposedly. My mom was getting rid of her PC to buy an iMac. She consulted Geek Squad, naturally, about any steps she would need to take to make the transition as smooth as possible. Those mother duckers told her that her MP3s needed to be upgraded to be Mac compatible. She paid them for this service. It was the one time I wished she had called me for tech support. My dad texts like a middle school girl. "KK, we are going to pick you up." My dad doesn't know how to turn off caps lock when he posts a Facebook. Everything he says seems like has yelling it. He also uses a lot of exclask me anything shine marks. I can guarantee you this. My dad does not constantly yell in real life. My mom makes sure to capitalize random words in every sentence. I guess to emphasize the words that matter the most. She also doesn't use a lot of punctuation. My mom has no patience with the computer. The computer is getting old, so it runs kinda slow at times. Whenever she's on the internet, Internet Explorer of course, because she refuses to try anything else, and it's not loading something fast enough, she gets pissed off and starts clicking over and over again, click 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 until the damn thing freezes up completely, which then sends her into a rage of yelling and even more clicking. Then she yells at me to come fix it, because obviously my sister and I have ducked up the computer somehow and am the only one that can fix it. My dad is an electrical engineer, but insists that if clicking on a link does not work the first time, that clicking harder will make it work. He knows there are no pressure sensors in mice. What the duck, Dad? Not sure if I can explain it properly. Typing with one finger, like press a letter, take hand away and look at screen. Type another letter and repeat until the word has finished. Not only this, but every time they type they slam the key down so hard just to make sure it works. My mother has a Facebook and 3 friends. One is me, one is my ex-boyfriend who helped her make said Facebook. The other is a novelty account for a dog. Someone please explain. My dad texts like he's in the military or something. If I text him a piece of information he'll reply, "Copy." Instead of saying goodbye in a text he'll say, "Over." I encouraged my dad to put his CD collection on his computer, as much as would fit on the relatively small hard drive, so that he could listen to it more conveniently. He refused because that's how you get viruses on your computer. No amount of explanation would change his mind on this. My dad thought minimizing a window closed it. So much filth. My mom worked in an office for 30 plus years and mainly corresponded through email for the latter half of that. However, when she sends an email from her laptop at home, she'll be like, now what do I click? And how do I send it? I understand needing an adjustment time to getting used to the nuances of a new email account, but this has been 3+ years now. Maybe she does the same thing at work and just has the most patient IT department in history. My friend's mom would refuse to use Firefox and only would use Internet Explorer. So finally, when she got a new computer, he downloaded Firefox, changed the desktop shortcut image to the Internet Explorer logo, and named it Internet Explorer. She has no idea. Not my parents but my grandparents, specifically my grandmother. I had to go over and teach my 60-something-year-old grandmother how to use iTunes. That was the most painful 2 hours of my life. She also thought that when you had iTunes cards, that you had to think of the music that you wanted and then drive back to the store where you got the card and get your music there. My mother double clicks on hyperlinks. My parents try to punish me by deleting the internet from the computer. 2 problems with that. They deleted the shortcut of Internet Explorer, and even if they had somehow uninstalled it, I use Google Chrome. Edit: I forgot to mention that he did not even empty the recycle bin. I type pretty quickly, 120 words per minute, and every time I'm around my parents they think I'm going to break the computer because it cannot handle how quickly I'm typing. When I was in middle and high school, my parents would take the keyboard for the computer to work with them if I stayed homesick. Even at a younger age, I managed to buy my own keyboard that I kept hidden for just those occasions. They had no idea how I managed to get onto the computer the entire time without a keyboard. On the same vein, they hid the password for the internet, back when it needed one, on the underside of the router. My mom did not know that to go to a website, you need to type it into the address window. She just yelled and cried at me going, "Why are you so mean? This isn't not funny." It was. What did she do? Just sit in front of the computer and ask it nicely? No. She asked me how to get on Netflix, and I told her to type in www.netflix.com, and she said where? I told her at the top of the page, and then she started yelling saying she did not understand. My mother isn't not the patient type. My mom printed out the 200+ page instructions for her Kindle. When my dad first joined Facebook, he searched for people using his status update. At first I thought it was funny, until my sphincter clenched shut at the thought of seeing a filth search on my newsfeed, so I quickly called him and set him straight. It took my mother forever to learn to type well on the keyboard. I'm not sure why, because they used to have ducking typewriters. But she would read and do let us wait too long because she held do one the keys too long. This is an exaggeration, but barely when I remember how it was in the beginning. And also, exclamation points everywhere. Last week I was helping my mom with her new computer and she needed iTunes for her iPod. After downloading it, she would not install it because of the line of text that Windows has at the bottom of every dialog box that says this program has been downloaded. Blah blah blah. May contain harmful software or something along those lines. After convincing her that it is okay, I leave, go to work, come back, and she is reading the entirety of the agreement statement. She said she had been reading it on and off all day so that she could install it. /Facepan. I'm a computer technician at a local shop in a small, rural town in Midwest, USA, so I have plenty of what the duck computer stories. Here's some of my favorites. I cannot remember the exact issue with the computer, but the guy's shutdown procedure for turning his system off was to unplug the power strip from the wall. He could not understand why his less than 1-year-old computer could possibly have hardware issues. Constantly have people with viruses that ask me where they got them from, because they do not go to filth sites. Because, you know, filth sites are the only sources of viruses. Had a woman call and ask me what's a good website to download music without paying for it. Told her to Google it. Figured that was a better response than, if you do not know how to do it, you do not deserve to. All-time favorite. Guy calls in with a problem with his new mouse. It was moving, but was acting all crazy. Love the technical diagnosis. I try everything. 15 minutes into the call, I'm at a complete loss. I mean, it's a mouse. Not a very complicated device. Finally my boss calls out from his office. Ask him if the buttons are at the top or the bottom. I do. His response? I do not see no buttons at all. I ask him if the cord is coming out of the top or bottom. Methodica had his mouse upside down. Brain explodes. I complete the call, immediately walk outside, and weep for humanity. My dad wanted to write an email to our Norwegian cousins in Norwegian. So he used Google to translate from English to Norwegian. Easy enough. Once he had the Norwegian version, he got out a piece of paper and copied down the letter. He then opened Outlook and retyped the letter into the email. My dad forgot that you can copy and paste. Oh god. My parents are software engineers and still do this kind of malarkey. Most notably, probably blaming the computer slowing down on my installing of video games. My dad was all about this. He was convinced that installing games on a PC actually physically damaged it because games were not meant for computers. The existence of a gaming market and various PC gaming hardware apparently meant nothing. If you are reading this, you made it until the end of the video. Click the thumbs up button since you made it until the end. Bam. On screen there should be some more videos similar to this. So either go do something else or watch more videos. That's about it. There is no more here. What are you waiting for, a secret message or something? Okay. This is not a secret, but subscribe for more videos like this.